Chapter 2 The River. Wake up, buddy. James woke up to the sound of his dad whispering to him. We're here in Colorado, he heard his dad whisper again. It's really beautiful here. I think you're really gonna like it. James opened his eyes. It was really cold. He noticed he was shivering. Dad, he said as he shook, I'm really cold. I know, James, his dad said, being just as cold as wet as his son. It's about 45 degrees out here. Really cold. Come on, let's go inside. James and his dad trudged through the snow. All around them was snow, lots and lots of snow. There were also a lot of trees that surrounded them. They finally got to the garage, and as soon as James walked in, his jaw dropped to the ground. The supposed to be gross, dirty, dusty, and smelly garage was actually one of the nicest things he had ever seen. He suddenly realized the trouble he had given his mom about it, and her words started echoing in his ears. Then why should I care? The features of the garage resembled a gigantic hotel. It was a big warehouse, but with rugs and walls and furniture. The garage had nice, shiny white paint that glistened when it reflected off the snow. It reminded him of light-colored stainless glass. There were stairs on the right-hand side of the garage. He looked up to see a second floor with a gigantic black and white bed. He already knew he wasn't sleeping there after the way he behaved. There was a kitchen on the side with marshmallows and hot chocolate packages. Next to it was a Keurig machine that he knew he would fall in love with. The kitchen had a tiny sink next to it and a little dishwasher below it that James thought was one of the tiniest dishes would fit in. By the front door was a couch, a nice, big, fluffy brown couch that James plopped on the second he saw it. Right in front of the couch was an enormous TV. It was black and white and had a sparkle that you could see from a mile away. Then James remembered he was grounded, and so it seemed his mom did too. Good morning, said his mom by the stove, making breakfast. How are you? You went to sleep faster than you could say sleep. Also, like we discussed in the car, you are grounded. Yesterday, I think you took what I said earlier the wrong way. You're not grounded for the month, just for about 3 days. That means no TV at all, but you can go outside. There's also a river behind the house, but since it's winter, the water will be frozen. Too bad. James stopped listening at River. His favorite hobby was swimming, whether it was in the ocean, in the pool, lake, or river. Mom, can I go to the river? James excitedly said. Didn't you hear me? His mom replied. The water will be frozen. I still want to go anyway, James told his mom. Okay. Mark, she shouted. Come here. Your son wants to go to the frozen river. Fine, he responded, paying no attention to James's mother just said. I'll take James wherever you want me to take him. Come on, Dad, James pleaded. Get off your laptop. I really want to go. With that, James went to where his dad was sitting and pulled his computer out of his dad's lap. Okay, said his dad, trying to pull his computer back. We'll go. Just get on your winter clothes and give back my computer. James gave his dad's computer as he smirked. He got on his clothes and dressed into 4 layers of winter clothes. Personally, James thought they were too many layers, but he decided to try listening for a day. I'm ready, he called out to his dad. His dad put his computer lid down and laid it on the table. He stood up in winter clothes of his own, and they both walked out the door. The back garage door area was like the front, just like a lot more snow and a lot less trees. They walked down to the river, which of course was frozen like James's mom predicted. There, James, a frozen river, his dad happily told his son. Let's go back now. James sighed. His dad was right. There was nothing there but snow, his dad himself, and a completely frozen river. I'm going back, his dad said. You can come back when you want to. With that, his dad turned back towards the house and walked away. James knew that he should have walked back with his dad, but there was something about the river that was pulling him in, like an invisible current that was flowing towards the river, and he was standing in it. James closed his eyes. He thought about how beautiful the place was, all the snow and trees, and he thought about how everything was truly beautiful. And then he got a thought. If he couldn't have fun with the river, he would have fun with himself. He turned around and walked forward, still having his eyes closed. He kept on walking forward, but suddenly he tripped on something. He jolted forward and opened his eyes quickly. He took a moment to recover, to look around. But now, unlike all the other times that he had looked at his surroundings, he saw grass. Not grass under the snow, but actual grass. He looked around and saw all the snow melting. The snow on the trees, on the ground, on the ground, on the... James turned around, and to his full shock, the impossible happened in front of his eyes. The river started to thaw. Not like when ice starts to melt slowly. Not at all. The ice started cracking, and pieces fell into the water. As soon as they went underwater, the pieces started to disappear faster than the blink of an eye. He started to get warm, but not the type of warm you get when you're too hot. The type where your back starts to relax and your feet start to feel the ground beneath you, and your face and body feel the warm air blowing around you on a nice summer day. James looked at what he was wearing, and his eyes started to pop. Instead of wearing his 4 layers of clothes his mom had dressed him in, he was wearing a blue bathing suit that he had left at home. He looked back at the house. His parents didn't seem to notice anything strange or abnormal. It was strange, since his parents could both see out the window, and they had incredible vision. James shrugged. Then he realized he can go in the river that was once covered with ice, but was now flowing with joyous water. He hopped in. The water was just deep enough for his waist to go under, just the way he liked it. He swam, and he did backstrokes and breaststrokes and starfish and doggy paddle and every type of swimming activity you can think of. He splashed and dashed and swam underwater in the clean, blue, sparkling, flowing liquid. He swam for about an hour, and then remembered his parents were waiting for him. But surely they saw that snow and ice had melted. Surely. He got out of the river and walked back. As he walked back, he took one last look at the river. When he turned around, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. He saw snow everywhere, and to top that off, he looked at the now frozen river in disbelief. He jerked himself around. Snow everywhere he looked. He looked at his clothes, and he was wearing his 4 layers of clothes again. James didn't know if he had lost his mind. A river that freezes and unfreezes like that? Weird. He slowly walked back, turning around every couple seconds just to make sure there was no grass there. If you were a bypasser that saw James, you would think he was crazy. He kept walking and jolting around and kept mumbling strange things to himself. When he walked back in, his mom called, "I see you've come back from the frozen river. I know it was probably disappointing for you, but some breakfast will cheer you up." "Breakfast?" James said, confused. "I've been gone for an hour and a half, and I swam in the river. It thawed, remember?" "Sweetie," James' mom said, puzzled, "it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Do you feel all right?" James felt dizzy. He didn't know left from right or right from left. His mom was staring at him, concerned, when his world started to spin. He started to fall backwards to the ground, and then everything went black.